The filters, I really hate maintenance, so I try to get the best filters possible. There are two filter pump systems. The one runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I have to service that filter, clean it about once every 3 months to 6 months, depending on what animals are in there. And then the main pump filter system, which is only on a couple hours a day, but it's running 3,500 gallons a, geez, I think it's a minute. It's outrageous. It's a swimming pool pump and filter. And that can often go for a year. So about once a week I put in 5 to 6 gallons. And I only do that once a week because I like the water level to fluctuate, to go down to a certain point. Now, there's a rock I watch in there, and when the rock's exposed, I know it's time to add water. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I used to have woodland. I had 5 acres of woods that had a half-acre pond and it had a stream on it. I really loved the environment. I would see deer there and birds and everything else. And my plan at the time was to build a studio on that property and just have this wonderful studio in the woods by the pond and the stream. But when I went to California, I had to sell that property to survive, to live. And I really didn't feel I could follow my career as an artist in the woods in Pennsylvania. So what I've done is I've reversed it. Instead of having a studio in the woods with the pond and the stream, I have that in the studio. It's just kind of inside out. And it's on wheels, so I can take it with me. And all the wires and cables and things all disconnect. And I mean it to travel. It's to travel in peace. So what we have here is an interface between the perceived natural environment and the man-made controls. Totally. Industrial. I love industrial stuff. I used to work in a factory. And I don't want to hide that. I don't want to pretend it's not there, it's not magic or anything. It's all there to see how it works. Although you may not understand how it works, sometimes I don't either. And I like the industrial aesthetic. I like everything in here works. As far as follows function, however, having been a painter, I'm interested in color. So these blue boxes match the blue filter over there because I had a choice. I had a choice with the filter, and I wanted to stay with the blue. And I've changed out valves because the valve stems were the wrong color. The wiring, I really got into the wiring. You know, it's like, this thing's like a body of work. This isn't one piece to me because everything in here had to be done particularly. There were a lot of things that I couldn't buy already made. I had to make them or modify something else to get what I wanted. Like these little things here, these are the main on-off switches. Well, that's all, you know, tricked out, custom, whatever you want to call it. I remember the day I got my wire. I wanted colored wires. Everything's color coded. And so I ordered a whole box, 23 different colors of wire. It was a big deal. It was like getting a box of paints for me. And then I had to make up all my cables out of the wires and wrap them. And that was just apparently the kind of sculpture I like to do now. I didn't know this when I started, but well, I didn't build this for the animals. The artwork is not for the animals. The animals are for the artwork. That's the way I look at it. That's what I've done here. But I still treat the animals really well as possible. Just because that's my outtake on it doesn't mean that they're suffering, because they're not. I mean, that is, besides the fact that it rains in here, it's extremely humid in here and they love it. That's the kind of environment they like, that they're not going to get in a terrarium, or terrariums, or a cage. They get it in here. So that works pretty good. But yeah, it wasn't, I tried different frogs in here. to find the right species or subspecies that'll really work, that'll do what I want for the artwork. To be generally visible, at least a couple of them. And the other night I saw 6 of them, so I know there's at least 6. And they make a beautiful sound. They do a trill. I like that a lot. I've had other frogs in here that didn't make any sound, and you'd never see them except late at night. Well, that was no good for the artwork. It was good for the frogs, but not for the artwork, and I was going for the artwork. And the birds are a real pain. They're always ripping on the leaves and things, even though they're so small, and they make a mess. But the thing is, they fill this area here with movement. And the movement is a big part of the art. See, the birds are moving here, the fish are moving down there, the turtles generally in this area, the frogs go across, and the iguanas just go all over the place. And so these movements, I see them all aesthetically, these movements of life. And that's what I'm interested in. I wanted to see it three-dimensional, and I wanted to see it alive. You know, it's just really neat to live with. It's a nice piece to have. That's why I built it. I built it because I thought, God, I'd really like to see this. And the only way I was going to see it is if I built it.